My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass. I'm about taking names. And we're about making games.
Damn it. I can't believe you're doing this to us, Reggie. I can't believe you're leaving. This is such huge, earth-shattering news. I am shocked. When I read this news yesterday, I was shook to my core about what's happening with Reggie Fils-Aime of Nintendo, as we all know, planning to retire and leave Nintendo very soon. So I don't know what to say, man. I am a humongous fan of Reggie, and I have been since he was first introduced to us at E3 in 2004, if you can believe it. Oh my god, 15 years ago. Actually, the only E3 I ever attended. And I've loved the guy, man. And this is crazy news to know that he's actually stepping down. Obviously, as I even just alluded to, what's happening is he's essentially retiring. He's doing the normal thing when you're a successful person, when you've been working your whole life, you get to a certain age, you get to a certain point in your life, a certain phase of your career, and maybe it makes sense to just stop working altogether. And that's what Reggie is doing. And so, obviously, first and foremost, most importantly, is congratulations to Reggie, I have to say. I mean, I'm a hard-working blue-collar guy doing my thing at work every day, just like a lot of you guys are as well. So I respect anyone who's out there doing their job, no matter what it is, no matter how high on the food chain or low on the food chain it may be. Reggie's just another guy who's been doing a job for a while. And, you know, as he said in his kind of goodbye video, it's time for him to spend time with his wife and his family. I believe he has some kids and his friends, and just kind of do the thing, man. I mean, hell, my folks have been retired for 10 years. Granted, they bought a business that they ran for like 5 years after they retired and like worked harder more in retirement than they ever did in like 30 years of like working in their careers, but whatever, that's just what they decided to do. But now they're like fully retired and they just like travel around the country in their RV doing that whole kind of thing. So yeah, at some point you retire, man. And so, like I said, I think a congratulations is in order, and I only ever want the best for Reggie. He's doing what he's got to do and what's best for him. And so I think that's great, and I just hope that he sees all the success and happiness in retirement that he's looking for. But if I was to be selfish for just a wee minute, is, like I already said here, I love Reggie. I mean, I've really enjoyed having him as a part of Nintendo, the president of Nintendo America, one of the main spokespeople, somebody who we were used to seeing and hearing from on a pretty regular basis, especially during E3. And, like, you know, I kind of joked about this on Twitter. Like, I get that he became the subject of so many memes, fantastic memes. Many of them were loving memes. They were endearing memes about how much we kind of think Reggie is kind of cool or funny or whatever. And then some kind of making fun over the fact that he's done and said a couple of weird, dumb, stupid things over the years. Of course, people have complained about Reggie in the past. People have been angry at Reggie and Nintendo in the past. Usually when Nintendo was in kind of their darker times, or things weren't going that well, or the news cycle about Nintendo, game releases, announcements wasn't really positive, a lot of people felt that he was just one of the bigger problems at the company, or just one of the corporate figureheads that's just meant to blah 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 into our faces, you know, and not address some of the serious problems Nintendo has had to deal with over the past 10 or some odd years. And, like, I get it, you know, if that's kind of the approach. And obviously, Reggie's not perfect. Nintendo's not perfect. They've made mistakes. But I think overall, I just think that Reggie has been one of the best people to represent their company we've seen almost ever, you know? And there's been a lot of great ones over the past, both for Nintendo and then for other companies as well. I'm a huge fan of Phil Spencer, you guys. I love Phil Spencer for Microsoft. And so, either way, we're here now, and Reggie is like, I gotta go, and you know, because I attended E3 in 2004, it's the only one I ever attended. I was working as a manager at GameStop at the time, and in the early 2000s, GameStop, that was enough to qualify you to go to E3, and it wasn't available to the regular public, and they didn't sell tickets. Like, we just had to pay to get ourselves there and stay in LA for a couple of days. Going to E3, registering, and attending all 3 days at that time didn't cost anything. We just registered over the old dial-up internet and printed out our tickets the way you used to have to do things compared to how it is now, you know, before smartphones and everything. And it was, okay, it was the most incredible experience of my life. I think that was the golden era of E3. I can't imagine it's very fun to go to E3 nowadays. Back in the day, it was this amazing, secretive thing. It wasn't a non-stop blitz and barrage of, like, live streams and commentary and video content and YouTube stuff every single minute of every day of YouTube. It wasn't that way. It was actually something where you kind of got sort of like updates through IGN and GameSpot back in the day, and you could eventually start to see live streams of the press conferences. Other than that, you were kind of just waiting for, like, the next month's video game magazines to come out and kind of tell you what was going on. Like, that's sort of how the news cycle was. And E3 was a bigger deal. It was more kind of exclusive, and, like, it was almost like an insider kind of thing. So to go in 2004 was amazing. Not to mention how many amazing games were there in 2004. I could list a million. Just look up the games that were at E3 2004 and you'll get an idea. I think it's the best year of E3 ever. Not to mention that Twilight Princess reveal, of course. But anyway, bringing it back to Reggie, it was just very fortuitous that that was the year that he was first introduced as the new president of Nintendo America. And of course, headlined and really ran that press conference that year, which began with his very famous introduction. Of course, they showed off the Nintendo DS at the time, the first time ever. It was a big mystery leading up to E3 that year. We just knew it was a multi-screen handheld, but it was very strange. He was the first one to reveal it to us, showed a bunch of great games, and then, of course, at the end, he also led into the reveal of Twilight Princess. The greatest reveal moment in video game history, and it will never be topped. That is the singular best moment in E3 history. I don't care if you don't like Nintendo or you don't like Zelda. It's not about that. It's about what actually happened, what led to it, what the reveal and the excitement was like, and all the excitement after. Like, that was the best. And Reggie was a part of that, man. And that was when he was first there. He was brand new at the time. And for myself, being at E3 that year and realizing, man, this new guy for Nintendo, he's pretty cool. This Reggie, no one knew how to say his name back then. Like, I was like, Reggie Fils-Aime. That's what I called him for a long time until I heard him pronounce it one day as Fils-Aime. And I was like, and so I just kind of like have this weird sort of personal like association and appreciation for the fact that my greatest video game achievement, E3 that year, was also the introduction to the world of Reggie Fils-Aime. And I mean, Reggie's done a great job, you guys. You can't really deny it. Even if you don't like the guy or you've been mad at him in the past or some of the things he's said and done have been kind of stupid and annoying. We all know the Metroid fiascos and the Metroid pin and some of the weird VGA moments over the years. What are you going to do? The thing is, he seemed like a really genuine guy, a fun and a nice guy, a passionate Nintendo fan, somebody who cared about his job, the company, the video game industry, and Nintendo fans. And he's always very well spoken, and I always thought he had a really good positive energy. He was willing to kind of make light of some things and kind of joke around, like when Jeff Keighley used to always do E3 interviews with him back in the game trailers days, and they had kind of a fun, jokey rapport back and forth. And I just always loved his candor, his demeanor, the way he carried himself, the way he spoke. I just thought he was a cool dude, man. Like, and so if you can't tell, I'm kind of gushing here about this guy. I just love Reggie, man. And so we're losing him, and this is a huge change for Nintendo, you know. And not to drudge up bad memories, but it's interesting when you think just a couple of years ago we lost Satoru Iwata for very different, much more unfortunate reasons, of course. You know, rest in peace. Love the guy. Miss him very much. And so now we're one of the next big faces and representatives of the company is now moving on in a different way. So two huge regime changes, granted for different reasons, but still just changing faces in the higher-ups for the company of Nintendo. Which brings me to the guy who's replacing Reggie, and it's very funny, of course. So Doug Bowser, who we know was kind of brought on and announced a couple of years ago, he is the one who is replacing Reggie. And that's fine. He seems great. To me, here's the thing. Everyone is loving cracking all the jokes about, like, Reggie's gone, but hey, at least Bowser is running Nintendo. Ha ha ha, lols, lols. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get the funniness of it, but, like, for me, I'm so, like, appreciative and used to Reggie, and I love him so much, and I'm so, like tragically sad over losing him. I feel like I don't have time for the jokes. I don't have time to appreciate the coolness of a Bowser running Nintendo. It's like, I don't really care. I don't care. I just miss Reggie. I just want Reggie. It's no offense to Doug. I think Doug Bowser probably going to do great. Probably going to be fine. Awesome. Good for him. Bring it on. I'm ready to accept him. But I'm not focusing on, like, the funny part of his name and Nintendo. It's not interesting to me right now. I need, like, a week to heal from this news about losing Reggie. So while I'm excited for the future, and I believe in Doug, again, I'll say this again, no offense to him. I have nothing but respect, and I'm waiting. I'm sure he'll prove me right here. I believe he'll probably do a great job. And if he doesn't do a great job, well, then I guess we'll all have to cross that bridge when we get there. So that'll be interesting. But I just am going to be sad that there's going to be no Reggie. It was hard to deal with no Iwata for a while, you know, and now we're going to deal with no Reggie. Miyamoto has obviously had less front-facing sort of stuff to do with Nintendo. We know he's not really working on games that we know of, focusing on the movie licenses and the theme parks and stuff like that. So it's a very strange, weird time for Nintendo. But, you know, it doesn't have to be bad. I mean, Koizumi turned out to be fantastic, who moved up in the years since Iwata's passing. I think he's absolutely awesome. Of course, we had Kimishima for a year and a half or so. He did a great job, we know, launching the Switch. Now we have Furukawa, who also seems to be doing a stand-up job. He was the one, unfortunately, tasked with delivering the news about Metroid Prime 4 to the world, so that couldn't have been a fun day for him, but he did fine. And so it seems like everyone who's been replacing the old guard the last few years is great. And so that's why I continue to believe in Doug. I mean, Kimishima, Koizuma, Furukawa have all done great. Now we're losing Reggie. I think Doug is going to do great. I totally believe in him. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Nintendo the next couple of years. Nintendo is on top of the world right now. They're doing very well. Their marketing is smart. Their product, the Switch, and the software for the Switch are just flying off shelves, breaking records. The company's making a ton of money. So it's probably even a great time to hand the torch over. I mean, imagine if you had to do it during a dark time like the Wii U years. What a shit gig to be handed like, hey, I'm retiring, so here's this Wii U company, good luck. And then bye, right out the door. Like, that's rough to have to take over. So maybe that's part of the reason Reggie felt that this year was a good time to do it, because it's really kind of a layup for the next guy. It's like, here you go, man. Things are going great. Just maintain a steady course. Do the right things going forward. And you and everyone else who's steering this ship can continue to see great success, you know, moving on to the next hardware after the Switch, and whenever they do home consoles and handhelds in the future, new franchises, new entries in current franchises, whatever is going on. I just feel like new blood, fresh blood, young blood is a good thing when handled properly in any company, in any industry, not just for video games, you guys. Video games is one of 1,000 industries in this world, so there are some things that are unique to the gaming industry and some things that are ubiquitous across all corporate work and of the whole world. So I just feel like it's probably good to bring in some new people. It just doesn't change the fact that my personal bias is I love Reggie and I'm gonna miss the guy. And so to close out, beyond my personal sadness for losing Reggie and beyond my congratulations to him for being able to retire and do and live out the life the way he needs to now, it's a great achievement to be able to do so. I, of course, have to also say thank you. Thank you, Reggie. You have done a wonderful job, 15 years at Nintendo. I have appreciated everything you've done and said, even your mistakes, even the company's mistakes. I think that you and the company always did the best you could with what you thought you had at that time. And like I said, I've just always loved your energy and your candor and the way you carried yourself and the way you spoke to the Nintendo fan. I thought it was really great. I appreciated it. You know, I never felt like I was being talked down to. I always felt like you respected me and all the rest of us Nintendo fans and game fans in general. And that means a lot. That counts for a lot, you know, and I think it was a great 15 years. Hell, I even love the Wii U. So, to me, Reggie's tenure included the DS, the 3DS, the Wii U, and the Switch. Like, and I don't know, so many incredible video games for all of those platforms. So, you had a great run, and I think that Nintendo is all the better for having you as a part of it for so long. And while I think something will be missing without Reggie, I still think Nintendo, the heart and soul and the core of the company, can continue and is beyond any one person, including even Shigeru Miyamoto. And that then, of course, includes Reggie. So we will miss you. I will miss you, Reggie, but you've been the best. And I think I'm just going to do a soft ending here and just say that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And goodbye, Reggie. I'll catch you guys next time on another video.